This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 5th day of August in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Millions of dollars worth of gold and $38 million in cash were carted off this morning by three armed men who attacked the Wallace & Enterprise Gold Trading Company in Gordon Street, Kitty here in Georgetown. Police investigators were called to the scene moments after the men made good their escape, with neighbors unaware of the robbery that took place just next door. The three men allegedly gained access to the compound by pretending to be miners who wanted to sell their gold. News source understands that they were given access to the offices to set up their alleged sale. However, once the men got to the room with one of the senior employees, they whipped out their guns and held everyone at gunpoint. The hands of staff members were tied and they were moved to one section of the room as the bandits ransacked the drawers and removed the gold and money. The heist lasted for a few minutes and security guards on the outside were all unaware of what was taking place on the inside. The armed men were able to make their escape without a trace. Police investigators are studying the surveillance video recording of the robbery with the hope of identifying the masked bandits. This afternoon, the police announced that a security guard attached to the company has been arrested and is assisting with the investigations. More news coming up in just a moment.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together we rise.
Get back to your life. Take a shot, take a shot, take a shot, get back to your life.
A message from Republic Bank.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
I'm in a rush. Digital got me in a rush. Driving style for the summer. Digital summer rush.
Nobody's doing it big like Digicel this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more and collect the letters to spell the word RUSH for a chance to win one of three brand new Toyota Rush SUVs. Yes, you heard it right. 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs.
Driving style for the summer. Hey, Digital summer rush.
Start topping up now.
Let GBTI make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Welcome back. Police investigators have traveled to the Blackwater mining area in Region 7 to probe the murder of a general manager for a gold mining operation and a security guard. The bodies of the 2 men and the dog that was also killed were found this morning. The general manager has been identified as Richard Bachan. The only name given for the security guard is Niles. One of the men was found lying in a hammock while the other was found on a makeshift bed. Both bodies were found with chop wounds and other injuries. Investigators suspect that the men might have been attacked in their sleep and were therefore unable to put up a fight. There are also reports that a high-powered gun that belonged to the security guard is missing. The mining operation is owned by Georgetown resident Kevin Ferber. He was informed of the double murder early this morning and immediately contacted the police. The bodies were discovered by a group of miners who also worked at a mining camp but lived in another area. Police investigators have not named any suspects. News source understands that a few months ago there was an attack in the same mining area by men suspected to be from a Venezuelan gang, and that incident is still under investigation. The Ministry of Health is now requiring all staff members of the ministry and all the agencies that fall under the ministry to get vaccinated or be made to produce regular COVID-19 negative test results. In a memo sent out by the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry, Malcolm Watkins, it was stated that the move is in keeping with the government's latest policy that requires all persons visiting government ministries or agencies to be vaccinated or make appointments. The Ministry of Health's vaccination requirement covers healthcare and other workers from the ministry and its agencies and departments. All public hospitals fall under the Ministry of Health. For the staff members who are unvaccinated, their COVID-19 tests must be done at a private institution at their own cost. Additionally, the ministry is also requesting all contracted vendors of the ministry and its subvention agencies to be vaccinated. This afternoon, it was also confirmed that the Ministry of Health requirements also cover visitors to the public hospitals. Persons visiting ill or hospitalized family or friends will now be required to provide proof of their vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test result from a private institution. Persons seeking non-emergency medical attention will also be required to provide proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test result. The CEO of the Georgetown Hospital, Brigadier George Lewis, said persons seeking the emergency services, including pregnant women, will not be required to provide proof of vaccination or a negative test result, since the emergency department and the maternity department have systems in place for testing of patients being admitted to those departments. While supportive of vaccinations against COVID-19, the APNU-AFC opposition today said the government's authoritarian measures to get persons vaccinated are not the way to go. In a statement, the APNU-AFC said it is shocked but not surprised by some of the measures that have been instituted by the government. The coalition said the government has mismanaged the pandemic, and the hesitancy being expressed by some persons to take the vaccine is in response to that mismanagement. The APNU-AFC said no one should be surprised by the moves by the PP civic government, since the government has increasingly adopted and encouraged authoritarian methods of governance over the last year. Last week, the government announced a number of measures that target unvaccinated persons. Those measures include unvaccinated persons being unable to visit a government ministry or agency without an appointment. The opposition is of the view that a responsible approach to vaccine hesitancy should take the rule of law into account, pointing to the need for consultations with stakeholders for useful strategies to be devised. The APNU-AFC also said it is cognizant that there are international conventions as well as local laws which govern a person's right in relation to medical intervention. The opposition further explained that the Medical Practitioners Act as well as the Patient Charter Act safeguard a person's right to privacy and confidentiality, as well as their right to consent and their right to refuse treatment and medical intervention. The coalition said it continues to encourage persons to get vaccinated as those vaccines become available. However, they're also calling on the government to desist from what they see as dictatorial rules. Let's tell you now that a recently dismissed charge against Anil Sanchara and Vinod Gopal for the murder of Isaiah Henry has been reinstituted. The two men were originally charged separately with the capital offense of murder. 2 weeks ago, Magistrate Peter Hugh dismissed the murder charge in the Isaiah Henry matter. It appeared as though the charge in relation to the other murder matter of Joel Henry might have been following the same fate. The Director of Public Prosecutions moved to withdraw the charges today, making way for them to be reinstituted on the advice of the police legal advisor. The men have now been charged jointly for the murder. In a statement, the police force said the charge was laid in accordance to common law. The matter came up today at the Fort Wellington Magistrates Court. Only one of the accused was able to join the matter virtually. The other accused will face the charge when he appears at the next hearing later this month. The move to reinstitute the charges came as a surprise to the attorneys for the two men, who said they do not understand how a matter that was tried and dismissed is now being taken before the court again. Berbice teens Isaiah and Joel Henry were found chopped to death in the Cotton Tree West Berbice Bag Dam in September of last year. Their brutal murder led to days of fiery protests in the Berbice area. 3 men were arrested and charged earlier this year with the murders. 2 of them have repeatedly declared their innocence. Let's tell you now that the Guyana police force has arrested a 5th suspect as it continues its probe of the murder of 6-year-old Hemraj Pardesi in Reliance Settlement, Berbice. The arrest yesterday of the latest suspect came after 4 persons were initially arrested in connection with the same crime. The police said a 6th person is being sought. Pardesi, who lives overseas, returned to Guyana in early July to begin reconstruction of his home. On the same day that he was murdered, he was seen earlier visiting a commercial bank. Police suspect that on Tuesday night the man was lured out of his house and attacked. Investigators said he was found at the house with duct tape around his neck and bleeding from his nose. Drops of blood were also found on the stairs leading to the upper flat of the building. The house was ransacked. The police investigations are ongoing tonight.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get your
color.
Buster $100. Come get your Buster $100.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together we rise.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has raged against the Supreme Court investigation into his conduct and has threatened to respond outside the limits of the Constitution, escalating the clash between the far-right leader and the judiciary. Bolsonaro's comments came after Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes approved an investigation into the president's unfounded accusations that Brazil's electronic voting system is vulnerable to fraud. In a statement, the president said the investigation is not within the bounds of the Constitution. Bolsonaro, who's expected to seek a second term next year, has repeatedly said Brazil's electronic voting system is vulnerable to fraud without providing the evidence. Critics say Bolsonaro, like former U.S. President Donald Trump, is sowing doubts in case he loses next year's elections. He has already threatened not to accept the result if the system is not changed. In St. Lucia, United Workers' Party leader and former Prime Minister Alain Chastanet has been chosen to serve as the leader of the opposition, following his party's defeat at the polls last week, and has served notice that he intends to keep government on its toes. In a statement on his Facebook page on Thursday, Chastanet said he was proud and humbled by the opportunity given to him to continue to serve the people of St. Lucia, albeit in a new capacity. He said the opposition will support the government when they do well, however noting that they will be vigilant and hold them accountable on the issues and promises that they have made. The Chastanet-led UWP lost the reins of government when it was defeated by the St. Lucia Labour Party in the July 26 elections. The SLP won 13 of the 17-member parliament. The UWP took 2, and the other 2 went to independents: former Prime Minister Stephenson King, who led the UWP ahead of the polls, and Richard Frederick. And finally, at this time, international news. The Mexican government has sued some of the biggest U.S. gun manufacturers, accusing them of fueling bloodshed through reckless business practices. The lawsuit alleges that the companies knew they were contributing to illegal arms trafficking, which has been linked to many deaths. Officials say Mexico is seeking as much as $10 billion in compensation, though any amount will be decided by the court. The companies have not yet commented. They include Smith & Wesson and Barrett Firearms, among others. The BBC has contacted both companies for a comment. The lawsuit was filed on Wednesday in the U.S. state of Massachusetts. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Have a good night.